Hey, Joris, I was just about to enjoy my bio break here, and I was going to have a yogurt. And my rascally kids, they always get the non-expired yogurts. And of course, this one, I see here the date, it's just gone off a little bit in terms of expiry date, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. But it got me thinking about expiry dates in medical devices. When we ship a product out of here, it always has an expiry date. And I wonder if we could maybe talk about this a little bit today.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. That's a very important consideration early on in the program. So what you're referring to is shelf life. And there's a claim for shelf life on products that are shipped to customers. And this is especially relevant to consumables and single-use items that are part of a medical device. And why it's important to think about it early on is because it takes a long time to test out how long your product is stable for on the shelf. So one of the things that you can do to have a better understanding of your shelf life is run an accelerated shelf life program. And what that means is that you would store the product on the shelf or in an environment where you'd put it in a lot of pressure. For example, by increasing the temperature, increasing the humidity, you can even submerge it into some kind of corrosive agents to really enforce that kind of decay and then track that decay over time. So an accelerated shelf life can be used to support a claim up to a certain point. So regulatory bodies are typically a little bit conservative in that matter because they want to see that your accelerated shelf life is matched with real-time stability data as well.
Sure, that makes sense.
So the best way to go about it in a program is to start your accelerated shelf life and your real-time shelf life at the same time and track them and see how they relate to each other. So you can see later on when your accelerated shelf life shows like halfway through after 3 months and you want to claim 6 months because it's accelerated, that your 3 month or 6 month data point actually matches your 6 month real-time data.
Absolutely. And have actual data to prove
actual
that's
data to show that there's like a real correlation between the two.
Yeah, and I've done some shelf life testing in my life here, and I know we often have these equations, where it's X amount of heat, pressure, humidity equals X number of years in shelf life. And I often wonder about that and validating that against real actual data is quite important. Right?
Yeah, it is absolutely really important. And I think especially, we're both coming out of laboratories, like we're biologists, and if there's biologics and reagents involved, they don't always decay in a very linear way. So these accelerated shelf life studies work the best if there's a very linear decay and you can map and track it over time. But if there is a sudden event that happens after X amount of time, let's say 6 months, suddenly your biological falls apart, then then it's hard to monitor and track that by an accelerated shelf life. So you would really have to build in real-time shelf life data. Yeah,
and I guess another thing, we often talk about product development cycles and that shelf life. Imagine like you want something that's going to last 2 years on the shelf. Imagine a product development cycle where you have to wait 2 years to prove that works. Man, that's pretty hard for somebody trying to get a product to market. So that's, I guess, where the accelerated aging really helps out.
Yeah, that's where the accelerated program really helps out. And the other consideration is that you can bring a product to market at first and then extend that shelf life while your product's already on the market. Right. So you can extend your claim. So a lot of products come to market at first with a relatively short shelf life, and then the manufacturer on record builds that out over time. So, for example, to claim 5 years of shelf life.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah. Well, I'm going to enjoy my bio break. I'm going to do a little bit of real-world evaluation here and see how close the shelf life testing is for this particular product.
We'll see. Thanks, Nick. Have a great day.
Have a great day.